All right, guys, running a little bit late because pre-market prep was just that good. But guess what? We're ready. We're ready to get after it. Ryan, Nick Brown, and I, let's get after this market. It's live trading with Benzinga. Let's see what we can do today.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
What's going on, guys? I'm going to have to slowly adjust that intro. Got to bring my man Nick Brown into it. You guys know it. Let's get after this market. We'll take a look really quickly at my swing trade action. And, of course, we'll take a look at what stocks Ryan's watching out there. And, like always, smash the like. If you guys have a stock that you guys wanted to go ahead and for us to cover, make sure you throw it up in the chat. And good morning to everyone out there. Cal, Explodus, Walter, Marina, Beach Bum, all you guys out there. Let's get some money. You got it, my friend. Let's get after it. I did want to tell you guys I did take profits in Wayfair yesterday, so I'm completely out of that short. When I go ahead and go to XOM, what happened? Perfectly described yesterday, guys. Was talking about this one yesterday, and I said, look, I'm looking for the fake out to the downside. The fake out is a big hourly candle to 105. And then the recovery really quickly of 106, closing towards above 107. That's exactly what we got yesterday. 105 attempt here, 104.84 is on the low. Quickly, that candle closed right back to 105.64. Next candle takes to 106 and just drives higher. That's how you fake people out on the downside, the bulls, wash them out, and then watch the stock rise. So now I'm feeling really confident in my XOM position as it's back towards 109. And this could really start getting some oil stocks driving higher. So be careful out there. Oil stocks look like they're going to keep going. We'll see what happens there. Goldman Sachs is one that I took yesterday on swing trade live right in front of you guys. So was trying to short one of these banks. And I said, you know what? I'm going to have to go after Goldman Sachs here as they climb back all day long back to this 350 area. And I wanted to risk off of this 350 area. That's why I drew this rectangle here. That's pretty much where I'm risking off of. Now I'm looking for this to come right back down towards yesterday's low, that 343, and start to get hit. We'll see what happens in the financial space today. Another way to play it on the day trading side would maybe be FAZ. That's one stock that I will keep on my radar today. Now kicking it over to my friend Ryan. How we doing, Ryan?
We're doing good, man. Let me make sure I'm not on mute here. We're doing good. So as far as the SPY goes, I want to see which direction we go, right? We're kind of trading sideways here. Do we break down or do we try to go back up towards the 462 level? So these are the two levels that I'm looking for. First, downside is 444, upside is 462. We'll see where that materializes. Just kind of, I guess, just waiting through some of these earnings here. But I really don't have a line on SPY where we're going today. If something materializes, some type of edge shows up, then I'll probably use some of those instruments like the SQQQ or the TQQQ to capture some of the broader market. I'd go after the technology side. Maybe SDAO, we'll see. Anyway, I'm kind of waiting to see that we're just in a sideways holding pattern here. I kind of am waiting to see where the next leg is going to be, and then we'll try to trade that. In the meantime, though, we will try and trade some of the smaller movers that are going on here. First one on the list is going to be RenB. This is Romeo Echo November Bravo. Renault Varo Biosciences, excuse me. Now, we did pop as high as 339. We've come all the way back into this 187. We're significantly below the VWAP here, but I want to see if we end up bouncing and getting some action here. I was taking a look at this, really didn't see much of anything here. I think this is AI company. Cube announced a binding letter intent to merge. So I haven't gone through this. I'm not really sure what this ends up meaning. This is all the news I have. So really want to see how this reacts around the open. This is not something that I would take right out of the gate here. If any of you folks have more information on this, go ahead and let us know. Next here is going to be DBTX. This, I believe, was one of these was a buyout here. Yeah, it was this one. Regeneron to acquire Decibel. I don't really expect this to move. The buyout price was 4. We'll see what ends up happening. TNGX is going to be next on the list. Now, with this one, I didn't see much news, but you can see yesterday in the after hours, we did pop as high as 733. We've really kind of come back in here. We're hugging right below the VWAP. What I'd like to see is the volume expansion, the buyers show up here, move through the VWAP. That might actually give us a trade. A really decent range exists on this stock. So if this stock gets hot early, that could be a really, really good target for us. Next on the list here is going to be ANTF. You can see we've actually traded this before. You can see this spiked as high as 160 and change, 164. It looks like bled all the way back down. Trying to hold $1 right now. Make sure this has strength before you trade it. We've seen ATNF move before. We've seen it break hearts before. We don't want to do that here today. ASNS is another one that's really kind of broke down here. And then the other one was LPSN, I think. Live Person. So this is another one. Live Person did actually have news here today. They reported earnings last night. They got an upgrade this morning. They got a new CEO. So lots going on here on LPSN, and the market is liking what it sees. I would not be shocked if this makes a run at 5 today. LPSN, one of my big watches out of the gate here. Nick, I'm going to flip back to my main chart here. Was there earnings that you wanted to cover? I'll go ahead and drive for you.
Yeah, I was going to say we can do like a power round. Rivian, RIVN, loss of share for EPS $1.27, not comparing those to estimates. Revenue $1.12 billion, estimates for $1.01 billion. Cash and cash equivalents $9.26 billion, estimates for $10.19 billion. They see full year production 52,000 vehicles, saw 50,000. They see full year adjusted EBITDA loss $4.2 billion, saw a loss of $4.3 billion. Lyft, ticker Lyft, adjusted EPS 16 cents. Estimate loss a share was for 1 cent. Adjusted net revenue $59.5 million. Estimate for a loss was for $3.35 million. Active riders 21.5 million. Estimates for 21.1 million. They see Q3 adjusted EBITDA 75 million to 85 million. Estimates for 47.2 million. They see Q3 revenue 1.13 billion to 1.15 billion. Estimates for 1.08 billion. Bumble BMBL adjusted EPS 5 cents. Estimates for 3 cents. Revenue $260 million. Estimates for $256.8 million. Adjusted EBITDA $67.3 million. Estimates for $63.4 million. Paying users 3.63 million. Estimates for 3.59 million. AC Q3 Bumble app revenue $221 million to $225 million. Estimates for $224.4 million. AC Q3 revenue $274 million to $280 million. Estimates for $275.8 million. And they see full year revenue $1.06 billion to $1.07 billion. Estimates for $1.06 billion. Celsius Holdings, CELH, adjusted EPS 52 cents. Estimates for 29 cents. Sales came in $326 million, above expectations of $274.59 million. Take-Two Interactive.
Real quick, Nick, I'm sorry to jump in here, but real quick, the one thing to note on CELH for Celsius Holdings is why I had you cover this. This is actually making one of my favorite chart formations. This is a legit OG floating island. This stock is popping out of a range into all-time highs and creating a new island here. Watch this over the next couple of days. What we really want to see is a back test of the bottom of this candle. Let's call it 165, a hold, and then a move towards the upside. If we get that, potential swing long CELH. Sorry, Nick, go ahead.
Nope, you're okay. Take-Two Interactive, TTWO, EPS 27 cents, estimates for 35 cents, sales 1.2 billion, in line with expectations. Adjusted EBITDA 105 million, below expectations of 142 million. Net bookings missing just a bit of expectations, 1.2 billion, estimates for 1.21. AC Q2 adjusted EPS 95 cents to $1.05, estimates for $1.15. AC Q2 net bookings 1.4 billion to 1.45 billion. Estimate was for 1.46 billion. Twilio, TWLO, adjusted EPS 54 cents. Estimates for 29 cents. Revenue beat on expectations 1.04 billion. They see Q3 revenue 980 to 990 million. Estimates for 1.02 billion. They see Q3 adjusted EPS 33 cents to 37 cents. Estimates for 30 cents. I know we're open, Ryan. We're going to get to Roblox and Penn. We'll cycle through those during the show because we did get some ESPN and Disney news with Penn Entertainment.
Okay, let me take myself off mute here. All right, I'm watching LPSN. It did pop out of the gate here. We're watching that one. Let me go back to my main screen. We'll go ahead and cover some of these. Fix everything up here. All right. All right, so RenB, that's one of the ones we wanted to take a look at here. We'll see if this ends up moving. Don't know. RenB is popping here. What are you guys? Oh, Jay saying MODG, they shanked it. That's of course Top Golf. They're down. So I should go through that report. I didn't even have that one. I didn't even have that one on watch. Oh, guys, LPSN. Let's go. Grabbed a little bit out of the gate here at 498, but man, I don't have very much at all. Nice pop. That happened fast. I was waiting for that to set up a little bit more. It just went. All right. Well, let's see what LPSN can do. RenB halt, says Matt. Good call, Matt. Thank you. Like 515 was the high there on LPSN so far. Let's see what else this can do here. GRRR looks like this is going to be on the list again. This was on the list yesterday. Yeah, Mitch is back. Let's go.
First focus, of course, is going to be Goldman Sachs, trying to see these banks start coming down here, and I'm getting already a little pop
LPSN
there
going higher
from the bear NVIDIA ETF that I'm keeping a close eye on today. Just got a spike and has a lot of volume there coming in right now at 8. So that actually looks interesting for me. Of course, what am I talking about? I'm talking about NVDS, the bear daily ETF for NVIDIA. Even thinking about opening a swing short on NVIDIA. NVIDIA heading down fast here, right out the gates here. So I don't know if you've already opened that up, Ryan, but that already looks good here right out the gates. No. I talked about it on my Twitter yesterday when they hit that SMCI. I said, would they come after the general NVIDIA? I have that feeling today's that day where they come after it. So I'm definitely going to be paying attention to those higher price names and tech coming down here today. Another way to play this is maybe Success to the upside. Success already getting a little bit of a spike here at 950s. So we'll see what happens there. FAZ is another one that I could look at for bank action today. Goldman Sachs already coming down here. I'm already up about $1. Doesn't look bad at all. I'm going to look for this to flush down through the 345s, going towards like 343s. Then I can take some profits. I got in this at 348s, looking good right now. XOM also into the green. Want this to go right back towards 110s today. It can hold 107 on pullbacks.
Real quick, I'm out of LPSN here. That was a nice little scalp to start the day. It was kind of small. I'm waiting for another setup here. What I'd really like to see on LPSN is a pullback. Right here, since I'm not in it, might as well pull it back now. Give me a better price to re-enter. So watching that here. And here we go. We're getting it. VWAP, I got at 496. We'll see if that holds up. DBTX being called by Smoke Tuna. Actually, LPSM moving back towards the highs here.
I bought NVDS in pre-market, Mitch. We're on the same page. I hear you, Greg, and shout out to you doing it in the pre-market. I was thinking about even doing it yesterday after market, and that was when it was at 790s. It's already there at 8. So I'm looking for pullbacks. I'll show you guys this on the hourly chart. Hourly charts are one of my favorites. Look how this is starting to go above this recent resistance. Now we're going to look for that to act as support around the 794s. So I'd look for maybe a quick glimpse towards 790s. And then a push back above this high here, which is 810. Let's see if we can get above 810 today. NVDS. Another way could just be shorting NVIDIA off the VWAP. So I'll look for VWAP fades today. That's a move coming back through 442s. I don't mind shorting 442s on NVIDIA today, risking off about 2 points off 444s. We'll see what happens.
LPSN moved back to the highs there. Couldn't really get back in it. But we will wait for that. Here's MF. This one really kind of hurt me yesterday. Looks like Wiss, you're waiting for this. Call this one out. LPSN moving higher here. Should have just stayed in that. That's the problem with some of these smaller positions. I feel like I don't have enough of them. Probably should stay in it. End up closing it. Not the smartest move. Not the smartest move. Well, we'll wait for LPSN to pull and set up again.
Just remember how you're playing it, right, Ryan? It seems
Well,
to me like you're doing a scalp more action, and so scalping action is completely different than staying in for a range
exactly.
consolidation breakout move.
That's
right?
what I'm saying,
So
and I'm not trying to mix those two things, right? Like I'm watching the
that's
stock,
where
I'm watching the stock do something, and I'm thinking, well, your plan here is to wait this out. Don't be upset that it's moving without you. Wait it out, right? Don't try to combine two different strategies and get behind the eight ball early. Pull them back here on LPSN.
good outlook there. And now you're getting a pullback in stocks S, a move right back to the upside here. We'll see if the Qs really go lower, and the Qs are already dragging here to 371. Will we see a 945 turnaround on the Qs? That's something to keep an eye out for. But definitely seeing some downside action, and be careful with those cheap names, guys. I've been calling it. The IWM is coming down. When the IWM comes down, I stop looking for these momentum small cap names, guys. So I'm not saying that they can't move and there's nothing going to move in the small cap land, but I say there's certain times I feel like is a great time to trade small caps. Right now, for me, it's a no touch. That's just me. And you got to determine rules for yourself, right? Like, let's say like a perfect example, like let's say Buru, right? That stock is at 66 cents. Pulling sideways, came back from yesterday around $2. Is this a stock that I want to trade today? By no means necessary. Now, of course, if you guys want to trade this, go ahead. We all make our own shots, but I also try to stick to things that I feel like I have high percentage chance in winning, and this is not one of them.
Yeah. A big pullback on LPSN. This is why we were waiting.
Nice little rejection there off the VWAP there for Goldman Sachs. Going to look for this to now go lower there. FAZ now at 1709s. Would like for that to pull back here today to 1690s really quickly and then come back up through the 17s. So if FAZ can make that move, a little pullback back towards the 93 area, looking for support around the 92s to play and then come right back up there through the 17s. Let's see if we get a little bit of a pullback opportunity there for FAZ. Can we talk oil?
TNGX busted through 6. I scalped that. It was so fast I couldn't even shout it out, especially with other things going on. Did re-enter LPSN right here on the VWAP, so we'll see if this works. I got a little bit of profit built up now, so I'm going to be okay for a little bit. We're going to see if I can get this back to, if I can get it, if it can get back to 540 area. That's what we're hoping for here. LPSN re-entry 506.
Coal doing really hot, guys. I've been talking about BTU, looking for pullbacks at 22 today. It's strong right now. I'm looking for coal pullback, and a lot of this is energy staying hot. When energy stays hot, coal has a tendency of catching fire again. I'm looking for pullbacks to 22 for BTU. I did see, I don't even know if I want to mention it. The natural gas players are playing today, and I don't know, guys. I already banned this stock. So if you guys want to talk about the Boyle and the UNG, I can't blame you. It is getting a pop today, but nothing that I'm going to trade here.
I stay away from that. I call that stuff the Widowmaker. I stay away from it. I'm not interested.
It's on my banned list. So
you mean banned from you trading? We can still talk about it.
Yeah. We can talk about it. But the key there is if I talk too much about it, I might end up going to the ban list, and that's no bueno.
LPSN really struggling here. I want to give it some time, but I don't want this to leak into my profits. And this sure looks like this wants to break lower now.
Oh, man. I'm glad at least we talked about NVIDIA maybe getting whacked today out the gates. And look at that. It's already getting smacked down here towards 437s. And I would love to have a position in this, but where do I go? Right now, it's just nothing but red candles down. It's hard to go after this. I look for the green candles a lot of the times to get short on. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that was my thing, Mitch. Like it's moving here. And what I'd like to do is I'd rather buy a pop, right? I don't want to chase the down movement. That's just, I'm going to be paying more premium on those puts. I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm. And the truth is that when yesterday, I already saw it's getting hit on that SMCI earnings report, and it came back. And then when I saw it this morning, I was like, man, that's an opportunity here as this stock is not going up, going sideways now. And when stocks go sideways is when you're going to see the bears step up to the plate. Look at the recent action in NVIDIA since the second. Sideways action. What does that give you? That gives you ability to now have a little bit more risks to return. So you can control the risk and look for that bigger win on the downside action for NVIDIA. I think the bears might have taken control today. And with that mention, I think AI just gets wrecked. I can't even short this right now. I did see some borrow cost out there for C3 AI that was pretty high.
Out of my second scalp on LPSN, we're 2 for 2 on LPSN here today. By the way, TNGX, this is the one I scalped really quickly. Definitely should have held that one. Upside halt here, 654. Remember what we saw on the halts yesterday? We had a nice upside halt right out of the gate. It immediately went into a downside halt. The trade wasn't that good going forward. So be careful here. 3 for 3 early on, 2 on LPSN, 1 on TNGX. Going to kind of wait for premium setups at this point.
Goldman Sachs looking good here. Now I'm going to look for it to break that 346 and move down towards the 345 area. Let's see if we can get that, a move back above VWAP. That's where you got to be a little bit careful. FAZ trying to pull back. We'll see what happens on that one. JPM right back at VWAP. So keep your eyes on that one. Of course, the best of breed in the banks.
What's going on with Rivian? Rivian pop into the highs here. Is there news?
There's headlines from CEO RJ Scaringe saying that the CEO says that there's a clear line of sight to profitability. And there also was a headline regarding all this demand talk regarding with vehicles on the lot. He says that unsold inventory due to logistics, not demand.
Okay.
I was going to say there was a PT race. Rivian got a price target range.
31, yeah.
Wedbush. They're going to 32 from 30.
Oil names going higher. Gonna look to see.
You said that was a Wedbush upgrade, Nick?
Yeah, I got the note this morning from Dan Ives.
Yeah, and I see Needham reiterated by and maintain their 31 price target. So it looks like 31 and 32 from Needham and Wedbush.
Yeah, Needham goes to 32 from 30.
I did super. No, I did not. You're right. I did not watch pre-market prep today. I was tied up doing some other things for work and also showering. It was a little bit later today. So I'm in the penalty box today for not watching pre-market prep. Mitch, I'm sorry.
The Super Trooper, they'll keep you up, man. They got the little speed radar. It came up. Ryan didn't get it.
Those snozberries taste like snozberries, bro. I mean, I had to.
We had to. I mean, with that screen name, we can't leave that one alone.
Yeah, I can't not do that. I'm sorry.
All right, there's Rivian pulling back now. That actually doesn't look too bad. Maybe 2490s on pullbacks. Rivian, I'm telling you, man. I know that people count this company out. I have a feeling that they might get it right, man. And I like their vehicles. I would say that I wanted to invest in them, but I was looking down there towards $10. It eventually got there towards $11.68, so might have missed it there. I'd look for pullbacks about halfway of the recent run. It ran from about, let's say, 14 up there towards, let's say, 28 or 2790s. So about 28. So you look for about 50% retracement of that recent action. I'd look for pullbacks closer towards 2070s, 2050s. If it can come back to that level, I'd like Rivian, especially on a longer term hold.
TNGX out of halt here. TNGX, wow, guys.
Carvana with a nice little trap move today, giving out some guidance. They pushed it in the pre-market. Now it's getting stomped on.
Smoke Tuna, safe travels, my man. Hopefully you're doing well, and hopefully you're going somewhere amazing, but safe travels in your journey.
So I talked about success right out the gates there, and look at that nice little lift now, up about 2%, continuing to the upside. Nice call out crow. This was a nice also A little just push right back up here, now creating kind of a little bit of cup and handle. We'll see if it gets there towards 10 and keeps going higher. What can definitely help this? Let's look at the destruction in NVIDIA.
Yeah, I'm pissed I didn't have this short from yesterday, Mitch, because even if I did, I might book some profits and then let the thing ride through earnings.
What's the first thing I told you, Ryan, when we were in the pre-show?
That shorting NVIDIA was a good idea.
I was feeling it, man. And sometimes when I feel it, you know, it's a good question to ask me. Mitch, do you have a position in it? Because if I don't, it'll probably go that direction.
Yeah, that's the curse of the commentator for me as well, it seems.
You know how it is, Ryan. When you're a commentator and you don't have positions, a lot of times you can see things like clearly. I was seeing it clearly because I didn't have probably the position in NVIDIA. Nice little takedown today in NVIDIA. Now down to 432. So technically from the open, it's already down pretty big. I mean, you're already talking about a nice little 2% first move down. I'd look for moves maybe coming back to 440s and then getting rejected, but big downside action here on NVIDIA. I think you're really getting people starting to get concerned. Why? Because even the super trending names got wrecked, like super microcomputers. I wonder who was talking about that last night.
I even heard the discussion on pre-market prep.
It's how it is, man. It's how it is.
Today.
My man,
always pre-market prep for a good 15-20 minutes. If it's on in the morning, then it's like 8:30, and it's like, all right, I got to turn it off and get ready for this show.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You got stuff to do.
And this was another one, Ryan, where I was on swing trade, and I was like, man, I want to short this so bad.
Yeah.
But if I short this stock goes to 400 tonight, guys. So
I know that feeling, Mitch. Oh God, do I know that feeling?
You know how it goes. Even Hendricks wanted to short it. You see, he's getting up. He's like, yeah, I want it. I want a piece.
I was going to say, they said AI 49 times last night on the call. And yes, I counted twice just to be sure.
But you know what happened? No, show me the money again.
Didn't they lower their guidance? If I remember that correctly?
Exactly. If you're doing so good in AI, then how are your revenues coming down? Dude, these guys, man, they just talk products. You don't give me any numbers. Guess what? You're going to start getting hit.
Maybe we should make this a new segment. How many times is this company saying AI on the call?
I have the segment. Just show me your money. Show me the money. AI names. Show me the money. Because to tell you the truth, I think I'm the only one that's really talking about how it's all about the revenues with AI products. I don't know, Nick. You listen to a lot of analyst commentary. Are people pointing that out? Because I just feel like it's so obvious. Look at the earnings. They don't give you earnings on AI. They just give you stories about how we're going to monetize this. We're doing this and this, but no real numbers coming from it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I could second that point. I don't hear a lot of guidance saying AI is going to contribute this much to revenue. We don't hear that from a lot of companies, if any, I don't believe. We'll hear from NVIDIA. I think a lot of people are talking about NVIDIA. They report August 23rd, I believe, after the market closes. And that's a big holding to AI.
Yep.
And so here's the thing about that. So first of all, by the way, I just so you guys know, I just got a text from a trader friend of mine, a picture of a Rivian truck in traffic. So there's catalyst there for Rivian if you buy into that. But let's talk a little bit about that NVIDIA. Remember, the last time NVIDIA reported earnings, they had one of the most extreme guides I've ever seen. They went from like 7 billion in guide to 11 for this next quarter. So I want to see in this report, did they live up to that guide, or were they pulling things forward and not going to be able to show that kind of profitability? I don't know what the answer is, but I suspect that if there's any let out from the AI bubble that we all kind of feel is happening right now, it's going to start with that NVIDIA report. And Mitch, I'd like to know what your levels are here, because if you pull up that daily chart, a lot of air under that stock, TNGX, by the way, gigantic move right here. Definitely sold this stupid thing too early.
Array getting a nice little lift. Solar stocks getting a lift today based off of energy. Sometimes when energy does well, solar starts getting the lift. So remember, I was even talking about this. This is why I was scared about shorting for solar off of that 200. It looked good on the daily to short it off of that. You're getting a lot of analyst comments that look negative in solar, but if energy goes higher, you could see the solar names lift right back up. And so, of course, be careful with the leader like First Solar, especially. There are some cheaper ones that have been knocked down, like EMPH. Those could bounce back today. So be careful out there, team. Did SMCI reduce guidance? They did reduce some guidance, and I'll tell you guys exactly the numbers there. So their revenue outlook for Q1 sees revenues at 1.9 to 2 billion versus a 2.03 billion estimate. So even on the high end, they're not seeing it at that estimate range. So that's definitely going to weigh on SMCI. All right, Mitch, look at IBB. Bum, bum, bum. We're talking about biotechs just yesterday. And I talked about how I like the IBB and XBI. Those still continuing to the upside today. Let's take a look at the biotech space, see what we're seeing in there. What is trading well? Let's go to, of course, healthcare. And just really quickly, just running through the sectors leading today: utilities, energy, and healthcare in the green. In the red, technology, consumer cyclical, and basic materials. Financials also. I actually set a stop there on Goldman Sachs. If it starts to come back into the green, I definitely don't want to be a part of it. But they're still in the red. Let's see if they go to the green. Industrials are just slightly up. Healthcare, biotechs leading the upside in healthcare, but also you got drug manufacturers also doing well today. Johnson & Johnson with a nice little rip to the upside. Lilly continuing to the upside today. AbbVie getting a move to the upside. AZN, NVS. You can see it, guys. Even Pfizer getting the lift. When you know they're lifting Pfizer, you know they're going after all of them, man. Biogen looks interesting right here off the 275. We'll look to see if it gets up there back towards 278, where it was yesterday. And then in biotech space, you got VRTX, interesting stock to take a look at. Regeneron going higher. Even Moderna, that was just getting smacked yesterday, getting a little bit of a bounce back today. We'll see if BioNTech can keep bouncing as it did yesterday. That got a little bit of a lift there. And of course, these aren't my favorite stocks to invest in or swing trade, and maybe grind these for a day trade, Moderna and BioNTech, but that's about it for me. We'll see what happens on those. Let's keep going. I'll kick it to you guys.
I was going to say, we haven't mentioned Barstool or Penn or anything, and they had some news yesterday. If you could throw up a chart.
Big news.
Penn or Disney, I don't know which one you prefer, but
let's do Penn, because I almost bought it this morning at 28. It's right back to 28 here. So this isn't too bad. I'm actually looking for a move back down now, closer towards 2670s. So I wouldn't mind even maybe getting the starter here at 28. I'm going to be looking to buy Penn, and it's all based on this news. So give us the news, Nick.
So let's just start off with first. David Portnoy, the founder of Barstool Sports, is once again the owner of his media brand after buying it back from Penn Entertainment. Now, he said in a post,
zero.
Yes,
he sold it for $500 million and bought it back for zero.
Okay.
Yes. I'm just saying, because that's pretty awesome.
Right. He said in a post on Tuesday that Penn and Barstool had, quote, gone our separate ways. So that's the first part. But let's get to the second part with Disney. ESPN launches a sportsbook in partnership with Penn Entertainment. Penn Entertainment is partnering with Disney's ESPN to rebrand and relaunch its sportsbook as ESPN Bet. The move comes as ESPN has been exploring further moves in the sports betting space in recent years. We've learned that they're trying to get deals with MLB, NFL for all the different games for streaming, and we'll get to that. But Penn is rebranding the Barstool Sportsbook as ESPN Bet and will be divesting its stock in Barstool Sports. Now, Penn CEO just made comments a minute ago saying we were an unnatural owner of Barstool Sports. Basically, we finally did the due diligence. But, it's going to be very interesting because Disney reports earnings tonight after the bell, and it would be very interesting to get some more comments from Disney CEO Bob Iger and to hear what this new deal with Penn Entertainment is, and to hear the different media speculations regarding NFL, MLB, for all the different sports across the country, to see if that eventually comes to Disney and Disney Plus and their different media services.
Well, where do we go from here, guys? I'm sorry I was showing NVIDIA there. I was just trying to do a little bit of a post there.
Do you like Penn here?
NVIDIA.
Would you buy Penn here?
Yeah, I don't mind it now. And I think this is a change of story. And I think that's what we needed in Penn. Sometimes when a stock is going sideways like it is in the monthly candles and where it can't get going, what does it need? It needs a change of story, really. a change of story, the way that people think about it. Remember, Nick, how I always talk to you about its psychology of the stock, not necessarily where the stock is today. And so now the psychology changes in Penn. Now they're thinking, okay, what's better, Barstool Sports or ESPN? Let's take it back, maybe 2020. Yeah, Barstool Sports, you'd say. But now, Barstool Sports isn't what it was. It has lost its touch. I personally think the content is just crap. But hey, that's just my opinion. But if you look at it and just watch the viewership, I was pointing to this way before this news hit the tape, that the viewership was dropping massively. I used to see live streams on YouTube where they had, 10,000 people watching. Now they barely hit 1,000. Barely. And they have a lot of subscribers. It's not like they don't have subscribers. Biggest thing that happened here to Barstool Sports, Portnoy got hit by the media and it destroyed Barstool. He no longer could come on the way he used to come on. He no longer could promote himself like he used to promote himself. And at the end of the day, let's be honest, Barstool Sports was made by Portnoy. Without Portnoy, Barstool Sports isn't the same.
I agree. His on-screen, like you were just saying, Mitch, his on-screen time was dropping and dropping and dropping, and I think that's what led to Barstool bleeding a little bit of viewership. He is still the brand. The reality of this move, I think it's good for Penn, and I think that it's I don't think Dave Portnoy ever has to work again. He can do whatever he wants for the rest of his life. I think it was a good move for him, and I think long-term it's a good move for Penn. I like your idea going after it.
Guys, Clover Health is moving, guys. For real, what's going on here, man?
I was going to say, watch the names like Pfizer, Moderna, BioNTech, all the COVID makers. The World Health Organization is tracking several coronavirus variants, including the EG5 variant present in the US and UK. They say that the new COVID Omicron variant EG5 is now designated a variant of interest.
Yeah, one thing I'll tell you.
That's all I have there. I'll let you guys talk about it.
Yeah, I don't even have to worry too much about those. I've already talked about how Moderna gave this outlook that it's very unlikely for them to reach. Let's just say that. Let's keep going. We'll see what else is going on. And yes, SMCI lost 2 months of work today. Yes, that's how it is, man. We've been on this long stair step up, but now we're starting to see what elevator moves down. That's when trend starts to break. That's where you got to be careful, traders, to not get destroyed, right? And I think that you can stay with the trend, but once the trend's broken, it's no longer fight the trend. It's understand that the trend has broken, and knowing where you want to take profits is so vital. That's why I like taking profits into rips versus taking profits when the trend changes and then you get caught.
Born, great to see you this morning. What are you trading? I haven't talked to you about what you're trading in a long time. It's been too long, Born. What do you got on the radar out there?
Mitch is my sports guru. I know nothing anymore.
I got you, man. There's one
Dude,
thing that
I text Mitch. Mitch, by the way, I'm just going to ask you, are you in my paid fantasy football league again this year? Do you want to be in it?
I have to be, man. I got to do it. I got to come back. I got to put my name on it, right? I didn't do too bad, but
that's exactly what I wanted to hear. I knew you were going to say something like that, but I have to formally ask you just to make sure you're in, locked in.
Always.
I'll have the details sent over pretty soon.
You got it, Ryan. Yeah, we're getting after it. And like always, one of my biggest things is trying to focus on, I like sports betting space. I focus a lot on that space and trying to understand it. Talked about it since the beginning, how it was going to be a lot of the battle at first to be getting the market share. But what are we seeing now with Penn? We're seeing consolidation, and we're seeing consolidation really hit. You saw Fanatics try to grab, what was it? It's from Australia. That's what's the company? I'm slipping on the company's name.
Yeah,
right
I am
now.
too.
But the big thing here is the consolidation in the industry. So the smaller players no longer have the advantage. They can't even just come into this space and try to take market share from a king like DraftKings, FanDuel, MGM Bets, and now ESPN Bets. These are the four monsters, guys. Stay away from these, right? These are the ones that are going to keep pushing things higher. Caesars won't do too bad because it's relatable to MGM bets. FanDuel and DraftKings, I'd put those together. And now we'll have to find out what ESPN bets is all about, right? What is that going to be? Is that going to be a push towards market share where they're trying to take away from DraftKings, take away from FanDuel by doing a lot of promotions and marketing? Or will they go the cheaper route, which is let's focus on profitability, not market so much, not give an insane amount of promos, and actually focus on the numbers? That's where DraftKings is slowly switching to, and where you want to see the industry actually move to, which is focus on profitability.
Yeah, real quick, let me, Ryan, good to see you, Staff Sergeant Ryan. Ryan, my man, I've been out of the loop for a minute. What's the news on Ford? Morningstar says stock can sell off quickly with macroeconomic fears, even if the company is doing well. Well, first of all, on Ford, this is a daily chart here. We've really kind of been in this parallel channel. I guess it's drifting up a little bit depending on how you draw it, but we're really still in the channel. Nothing is really materialized here. I think what that headline means is that if interest rates remain high and the consumer's purchasing power is reduced, the purchase of more cars is unlikely, or that volume is going to go down. I don't really think there's any reason to hit the panic button here. I haven't heard of any news on Ford to hit the panic. I just think we're kind of in a channel. The way I look at this is that if this gets down near 12 even, maybe 11, it's a good buy. Every time it's come down here, it's bounced off that, and I don't really see it breaking down much lower. So I don't really have a whole lot for you on Ford. Maybe wait this out. If it continues to sell off, you can load it up for a long side trade. Good to see you back, though. Born, getting it in here. All right. So, Born, you're trading UNG. All right. And you're also trading Tesla, Micron, Amazon. I've loaded up on CE, end of Ukraine war play. Wow, Born, you're hitting it right now. I absolutely love it. Because the natural gas play, that one's got me a little frightened. Keep me updated on how you're doing with that. That's good stuff.
All right, looking at FAZ, it's starting to pull back. I'm going to look to see if JPM just makes a quick down move here, and then I could see FAZ start to take off there. It's starting to do the pullback that I was looking at earlier, which is a 1690 attempt and then recovery of 1693 back up through the 17s. But it's not also the biggest upside outlook. Just to kind of put it in perspective, I think maybe you get like 30 cents, 40 cents on this name. So always keep that in mind. You have to have the right share size, right? I talked about this on the book club last night about how if you don't see the potential reward that you're looking at with the share size that you're going about, that can also be a way to not go into the trade, right? Because if I can only take this amount of share size with this trade, and then if it gets all the way to the top, it's not enough for me, then a lot of times what you're going to do is you're going to get frozen there and not take the profits because it's not to your process.
Born saying, Ryan, watch the pipeline deal in Niger. It's going to be significant for natural gas. Okay, good heads up there. I'm not as up on. I should read into that. If you have resources for that, Born, I'd love for you to email them to me. I will watch this. I want to stay up on this. By the way, folks, TTOO for you penny players. This has had a great move here today. We're what? A 6 cent move on a 30 cent stock. Stock was 28 cents when it opened, 29 cents. So for you penny players in here, TTOO strong, really good volume. I'm not trading this. I've made no trades on this. I'm avoiding it, but worth mentioning here. Another stock that's been really strong on volume after earnings here has been Bird. Ticker Bird. I'm actually not familiar with the stock. I did scalp this, but I only made like $45-50. It was small, but nice trading action here. And this was one that's definitely worth watching. We popped out of the gate, traded sideways a little bit, took the next leg up. Volume looks good. I actually don't know much about this stock. I should look into this one. Lifestyle brand that innovates while naturally derived materials to make footwear and apparel products in a better way. Okay.
Carvana taking a hit today, guys. This just shows me more and more. I'm starting to see those even momentum names give up. Be careful with momentum names, especially if they've already ran strong, like let's say Upstart even. Upstart another leg lower.
TNGX open now. Yeah, this move is crazy. I scalped this like really small. Like And I should not have done that. I should have held on to this. Big pull here coming in TNGX. Let's see if this sets up for another long side trade.
Guys, I'm out. Goldman Sachs here, just slightly into the green. I didn't even let it go back to my break even. It just doesn't look like it's making that move. It's above VWAP. There's no point in me being shorted no more. I'm not going to lose money. I'll just get out of the trade. When trades don't cost us money, a lot of times it can be okay also to just take your money and run.
Mitch, I'll do that too. I'll do that too, especially on a short-term trade. I'll take it. It'll go in my favor, and I'll say, you know, I'm not going to let this go red. And even if I get stopped out, I can probably get it again when it sets up again. But I just don't want to take losses. I'm with you on that.
Especially when your mentality is what it was prior. To me, it was overnight, this getting smacked down, right? It did get hit at the open, but not a smackdown at the open. And since I'm not seeing that, I'm actually pushing against the narrative, contrarian approach here. And I think that when I'm contrarian, a lot of the times, I'm quicker to the stop. Thoughts on Apple? Looks like it has good support here. Yes, Apple will find support at some point. The only thing is, though, is if stocks continue to get hit, Apple continues to get hit too. This isn't a bad. It's a 38.2 retracement level, right around like the 178 level. And so I could see that maybe being an area to hold. And that's just based on fib retracements from the recent run. But 50% seems to make sense a little bit more for me, which is down towards 172. So 172 on Apple, yeah, I'd be a buyer. That's 50% retracement of the recent move.
I was going to say, we have CPI and PPI. CPI tomorrow, PPI on Friday. If CPI comes in better than expected, lighter than expected, do you think this is going to be the time for stocks to rally again? Or do we see a potential uplift in inflation with commodity prices? Because I'm trying to read through the notes here. And everybody thinks a lot of people think CPI is going to come in either in line or slightly below estimates.
I am the opposite. I believe it comes in slightly hot, and surprise, surprise, report starts to shake up the narrative. We'll see what happens there, guys. The only way to find out.
I want to
tune in tomorrow.
By the way, TNGX, I'm just kind of watching it here. It's really kind of pulling, which is good. I got the VWAP at 721. That's a full point away from where the price is now. So I'm not thrilled about, buying stuff up here, although it does look like it's trying to hold in there and bounce. We'll see on TNGX.
FAZ now getting a little bit of a bounce. We'll see what happens on that. It starts to make an up move. But seems like we're starting to get a little bit of a comeback here. Let's see what happens. Q's did. Nah, they didn't bounce at all. SPY bounced to the VWAP, but Q's still really weak.
It's trying to hold in here, but it's early. We might still break and take a next leg lower.
Yeah, just look to NVIDIA to see if it can recover VWAP for tech plays, right? Because if NVIDIA just leaks all day long, I mean, I'm going to find it very hard for tech stocks to be in the green.
I got NVIDIA 436.62 VWAP, by the way. So
yeah, and I can see it here. It tried to make a move back to VWAP, failed it. And so if it just keeps going lower and lower, yeah, I can see this dragging. Another thing that I've been talking about, if Microsoft keeps going lower, this market isn't going to change, guys. Microsoft has just been going down since the earnings. I've been talking about this. Let's see if Microsoft can change tunes. It's down now about 11.5, and it could keep going down further. 11% from the earnings is not a good sign. Why is Microsoft going down? What brought it up here in the first place? AI revenue. What did the CFO tell you? AI is going to come in gradually. How gradually is that going to be? You know what I mean? How long will it take to get the revenues there? Things like this, guys, we got to catch them quickly, because there's a whole nother thing with hype on AI and in a forward outlook when you have no numbers. But once we start getting earnings reports, we actually get numbers and they're not there.
I was going to say earnings is holding up better than expected this quarter and this season. Is that going to be leading into Q3 and Q4 saying, hey, we're issuing better than expected earnings? Because I don't see many people upping their 2023 or even 2024 EPS range, EPS targets.
Yeah, revenues don't look good looking forward. And that's not what you want to see in a bull market. You want to see people giving outlooks that are way higher than the revenue outlooks.
I just I had to sell that. I basically just bought a little bit of TNGX and it immediately popped on me. 2 for 2 on this one too, and I have used. I've used a total of 500 shares. I've used almost nothing on this. TNGX is wild right now, but that worked.
Hey, take what
Wait
you
for
can
this
get,
to come.
my
I
friend.
still think this comes into the VWAP and gives us a really good setup. I'm sorry, Mitch.
No, not a bad day, my friend. All right, traders, let's keep it going. Smash the like out there. You guys know where you're at. Live trading with Benzinga. Man, I need to listen to some Pink Floyd. I haven't listened to some Pink Floyd in a while. Gonna have to jam out, get the records going in the back here.
Mitch, I was going to point out this too. B of A this morning comes out with a list of charts, and I don't know, I'm only on page 3 of the charts, but they come out with tons of charts this morning. And just going through their notes, and Savita Subramanian over in B of A points this out, and I didn't know this, and this also could relate to Ryan too, because we look at the S&P 500 on this show a lot. But they say on the S&P 500, Ryan, and I think you'll like this. This is something interesting. We're back to January 2022 for the S&P 500 level, forecast EPS, and PE multiple at January 2022 levels.
So nothing really happened over the past year.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
Mute. We've been mute.
Look at the big red bars we just
exactly
got on the
where we're at.
5-minute. Look at the big red bars we're starting to get now. So just be careful with stocks that are in the red, continuing down further. Technology is one of those that I keep seeing get hit. What do I see here? A bunch of bleeding from the top. The top names are bleeding out here in technology today. You got stocks like Apple down, Microsoft down. Look at how many stocks are down. I'm going to run through it really quickly. These are the top capitalized names. Down, 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 down. Oh, we got 2 that are up. I'm sorry. Down, 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 down. Getting the point there, guys.
Yeah, I think we got the point.
Is what I got.
Down is what this market is.
No, it's just the weakening in the wrong area. Right? What has kept us up? It's technology. Let's just be honest. Everything started trailing technology. And now if technology is going to lead us down, well, we'll probably see this start to turn around also. And I don't think Kramer had any good call on DraftKings, but hey, who knows? Maybe he did.
Broken clock is right twice a day.
That sounds like a remix. That sounded like a remix there. I got you, Raz. No, I mean, honestly, I look at the leadership a lot of the times. Leadership goes, we got to be careful, guys. Microsoft was the first. Then Apple's report came in. It didn't do well. And that's actually dragging stocks. Even let's say like an Amazon that had a killer report. Where has it gone since the report? Only sideways. That's the market dragging it. I think if ever the market picks back up, Amazon does take another move to the upside. But for right now, it's getting dragged with the market. All right, looking around to see what else is making moves. And energy continuing to go up. ARC continuing to get hit shows me more and more that the change in the, let's say, the growth names, it's just not there anymore. Look at Roblox today. Is this an AI stock? Everyone was calling this an AI stock a little while ago now. And come on, guys. The revenues is not there, guys. Look at Roblox crack today. That's an ugly, ugly move there towards 30.
I don't play Roblox, so I have no idea what the game is.
Yeah, I don't either. Nick, one of the things that I've been saying about Roblox, I do enjoy video games. I'm pretty addicted to just one, so I don't really play a lot. I have no idea what Roblox is like. But here's what I do know. Every time I go to Costco, there is a gaggle of kids around the Robux card display. And so I know that they have in-game like cards or transactions, and I know that those are selling because I literally see the kids buying them and begging their parents to buy them. So that's about all the insight I have on Roblox. No position. I think I've traded it a couple of times with mixed results.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not I used to be a video gamer with friends, but we've transitioned and I don't really play video games. I mean, I have a PS5, but I haven't used it in 2 months.
That process, I believe, is called growing up, something that I have not fully done yet.
I mean, I don't know. A lot of people that I talk to, they too play Roblox, but I say I don't know what it is, and they try to get me into
Yeah.
Roblox. But I don't play like Sims or
Yeah.
Roblox or anything that's, I don't know, addictive anymore.
Yeah, simple. I
Caleb
still play
talking-
every day, says Crassy. I don't play every day, but I'm up there. I'll say it does relieve stress a lot, and it's very, very inexpensive compared to some of my other hobbies that are stress relieving, like golf, for example. Much more expensive than playing video games.
Yeah,
Speaking
it's just tough. It's a one product kind of stock,
Yeah.
and I don't like one product type of stocks in
Yeah,
technology names.
that makes a lot of sense, Mitch. I think that's a really good way to go about it.
Like, give me some multiple drivers that you can make, and then it's like, okay, like give me another game or something. I know that they just make their money based off of like what was mentioned in the chat, which is a good mention, right? Walter bringing in here some information for people that might not know how Roblox works. A lot of the times the kids produce the games inside the game itself, right? So like creators create games within Roblox, and that's how you can go ahead and play. And of course, there's some that you have to pay to play and things like that, and you can pay for things inside the game. But hey, we all learn something every day, Raz. I'm glad you learned at least a little bit something from our stream today and learned that Roblox was a game.
I used to play Fortnite a few years back.
There you go. Fortnite was very popular. And why was Fortnite popular? Because it was open,
Yes.
right? And I think that was when it first started kind of going more into this open approach. That has helped gaming for sure.
Yeah, like you could, in different aspects of the game, you could just play around with your friends only. You could build different structures with your friends only.
That's what Roblox is pretty
Yeah.
much also on. A new kind of, you can look at the metaverse game like Sandbox is another one that kind of does this similar. I mean, I think these games will also be around in the long run. It's just more long. We need to go through waves of technology. Technology comes in waves, guys. It doesn't just come and then all of a sudden take off. No, it comes in waves. It has ups and downs. That's where I feel like a lot of people get it twisted. Metaverse came out, stocks. But then what happened? It was a big wave and it came right back down. I think the AI is starting to going back on the down wave. The only thing that can get this wave and bubble to drive back towards the upside like it was real numbers, nominal information that tells me X and X is going to this revenue. That's the only thing that I think is going to bring this story back.
Mitch, can you throw up a chart of TLT? Everybody's talking about this. There was a new Reuters poll out about 10, 15 minutes ago. Reuters is saying in their poll that U.S. 10-year Treasury note yield has peaked in the current cycle, set 81% of strategists. And Crossy pointing it out in the chat saying, TLT, is this all on the Reuters poll? I believe we do have another auction or two this week, today or within this week, that we will get another auction. So just watch TLT. Remember, 10-year is driving a lot of this action. If it's above 4% and continues to go higher, market doesn't like that, and rates continue to move lower, then the market will like that. CPI tomorrow will have an effect on that, so please watch tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Pre-market prep will have the latest, the details on that when the report is released at 8:30. We'll reiterate that here at 9:10, 9:15-ish on live trading. I'm not going to spend too much time on CPI given the pre-market prep. Dennis, Joel, and Mitch will have a deep dive into CPI and even PPI on Friday.
I'm looking for coal. What can I say? I don't like gold. I want coal, baby. Coal. I love coal right now. It's super hot. You guys are seeing every stock there pretty much up from the open, especially BTU now starting to really drive. AMR, the leader. CEIX just made new 52 weeks high and keeps going. Look at this rip out and CEIX coal stock here, as it looks like, guess what, guys? Santa's bringing coal this year, baby. It's coming back. Don't be a bad boy. Get your coal.
Sorry, I had to step away for a sec there. Water delivery came earlier than expected. I was not ready.
Amazon? Was it from the Amazon truck?
No, it was Hinkley Springs.
I'm going to say, then you're going to send the Amazon
Costco or?
I did sign up for that from Costco, correct.
Ah, you see? I know about that. They tried to get me at BJ's too.
It's just so convenient to have the water delivered and not have to deal with plastic bottles that you recycle and stuff.
Yeah, that's where I feel bad. I feel bad for the environment. I buy way too many plastic bottles, but I guess I just like the water. Walmart going higher. That turned right back to the upside. So Costco getting back to the upside today, 560s. Those look interesting as we are starting to get a little bit of a bounce in defensives. Yesterday, the market was coming down, yet defensives came down. That was a confusing day. Today, the market's coming down, but defensives actually in the green, bouncing back a little bit. Spies has been hanging out here sideways since about 9:45. So we'll see if we take another leg lower here in the Qs. It looks like the Qs are coming down. Didn't even get back to the VWAP. That looks very weak. We'll see if we get reversals, but NVIDIA just hanging out here on the 435. Of course, that's one of my indicators for the overall market today. NVIDIA keeps going down, and I think it just keeps dragging us. There's NVIDIA down to 433.50s. Will it break the 432.50s and go to a new low on the intraday? Now we're seeing it 433.37s. It's trying to get through that level. We'll see if it gets down there and breaks.
Take care, Judge. Good to see you. We'll see you later.
Coming down, baby. Yeah, this is one that I maybe should have opened the position in pre-market.
Jay Summers in and out of TNGX 3 times. Yeah, me too. I actually grabbed another 200 shares right there and scalped it real quick. That one wasn't that great. Rustam is asking, do you guys order Uber Eats? If so, what is your favorite food? So interesting here. I don't order this very often. I much prefer to go get it myself and save money. I guess you could call me cheap in that regard, but in some cases, I will order it. If I'm doing something, if there's something on TV that I'm trying to pay attention to, whatever the case is, occasionally I will. I try to limit it as much as possible. Favorite thing to order? I mean, man, anything that's good. Chipotle, anything that's really good. There's this breakfast place down the street from me that has really, really good foods.
Financial just slightly green. This makes me want to go after FAZ today. And so I'm going to take a little bit of a shot here on FAZ with the small account challenge. So let me go ahead and set that up here. FAZ off of 93s. See if I can get 93s here filled. All right, orders out there to get 1693s here. Let me see if I'm able to get it. I'm on the bid there on FAZ. We'll see if I'm able to fill. This is for the small account challenge. I'll let you guys know. Looks like it's already getting up there towards the 95s. I'm still off the 93s here. I just want to get filled on that 93s and then risk down towards like 1688s. It's the risk, what, maybe 5 cents here, or move back up there towards 1710s and a little bit higher. That'd be about 15 cents higher. So still the 3-to-1 outlook, but looking for the move way above that. So we'll see if it starts getting the move here. And I'd want to see the banks really get hit there. So I just got filled there on Mumu. So there we go, guys. Mumu getting filled there. We'll see what happens on this FAZ 1693s. Let's see what happens now. I'm going to start taking a look to see if this goes back above the 17s. We'd want to see these banks get hit here. And so I'd want to see even like Goldman Sachs. Remember, I got out there. Now it starts to come down. That's okay. I'll go at it another way. Bank of America, I'd want to see that take a hit right back to the downside. Citi, I want to see the KRE come right back down here. We'll see what happens. Of course, a move back above. I'll just get out. We'll see. It's a nice little risk to return. Let's see what happens there on FAZ.
TNGX right now looks like this is pulling back here. It is definitely wild. But it looks like it's pulling back here. I really do like this if this can get to the VWAP. Now, it's bounced a number of times before then. Maybe it bounces off the round number at 8 here if it comes in a little bit more. But I like this. I like this. I'm still watching. I have no position right now. Been in and out of this thing. But yeah, I like this one. NVIDIA, look at NVIDIA and Mitch taking the next leg lower. Boy, we were a day late on that.
Ah, man, it's one of those where, like, sometimes, like, I have to think about this sometimes, because if I can just stay, like, just aware of the market and comment on the market, and a lot of times not take these positions, that's when I'm usually on fire with my analysis. So that's why I tell you guys the good question of asking me, hey, Mitch, you feel that way? Do you have a position in this? It's a good question sometimes, man. I think a lot of people were also looking at that SMCI one, and I was just like, man, want to go after it, but can't do it. It's down now to 265s. Wow, what a takedown. That's from 350 yesterday down to 266, down 24.2% in 2 days. It took over a month to do that move. That 20-something percent. So we got to be careful.
TNGX looks like this might be coming back into the VWAP. That would be good. We'll wait for that. We'll wait that out. We will wait that out. Any of you golfers out there, Wisp, Born, Jay, have you guys ever heard of Bettinardi? Just out of curiosity. Just wondering. Here comes a potential bounce off 8 for TNGX. We'll see if that continues. Born, nope. Okay. Yeah, Ryan, high-end putters. Shane says nope. So, yeah, my buddy uses one of the putters, and he swears by it. They're really high-end. They're really expensive. I don't have one yet, but I did get some head covers, and they're pretty awesome. Pretty cool art on the actual things. And once they make a run of stuff, they don't make them anymore. So once they're out, they're out. But the head covers are Chicago themed, and they're pretty sweet. So I'm actually pretty stoked about it.
Yeah, be careful with those momentum names today. I've seen a lot of those go red. AI just getting drilled also down to 34s. Straight down out the gates. This is what I'm trying to talk about, that maybe the AI is starting to pop. Sydney, I'm not trying to put it in wounds or gashes, Sydney. Especially on you. I would not try to put the salt on the wounds there. But it's just how it goes sometimes. And this market, it's tough, man, because let's just be honest. For anybody that's invested in SMCI, if they got underwater today, it's just tough. It's tough. What do you do? The stock was so great, and now it's in the red. It's difficult. I've been in that position, and it just sucks because the truth is the earnings weren't even bad. They almost beat by $1 on the EPS, Ryan, and they still can't even get the stock up. It gets drilled. That's how the market is.
That's
right now.
tough. That's
tough. I mean, that's not a small beat. 351 by an estimate of 257. That's a pretty good beat, man. Just how it goes sometimes. Waiting on China news. Yes, China news will be something that I have on my eye out too, John. You're looking at 10 and 11 a.m. 2 days important. Not any reports to watch out. I think it's important, definitely. One thing that I would be looking at also is to see if we ever get some real true policy increase. What do I read today? I talked about this even yesterday about BABA. And then today I see in multiple media reports, what are they saying? That the second largest economy struggles to revive demand and that pressure is mounting on Beijing to release more direct policy stimulus. You guys can hear it first right here on Benzinga, baby. I got you guys. That's what it's all about, right? We're trying to give you guys this information to be ahead of it, not the morning of when it comes in.
Deflation in China, do you believe it?
Yeah, I mean, did you see those imports? Imports dropping 12.4%, exports dropping 4.5%. Not what you want to see there.
No.
Not what you want to see. So definitely they're struggling. Their economy is struggling. And what's going to end up happening is probably some kind of lift. But when does it come? That's the hard part. We were supposed to get mentions of that when BABA ran to 100, and then it came right back down. Why? Because it was just like, oh, we're going to let consumers buy 2 vehicles. We'll let consumers just buy, but it wasn't direct policy stimulus.
I'll even continue with that, Mitch. There was a report, I think, in the Financial Times. I don't remember if it was this weekend or last weekend. I think it was last weekend. There was a report saying that President Xi is trying to tell people and economists that are going to be speaking and issuing notes and talking about China's economy to stop being so negative. And that just goes to show what kind of government China is, that trying to
Bingo.
cover up all the negatives, and they're just trying to just be positive. I think you have to tell the story both ways. You just can't lean to one side.
That's all they do, though. Bourne says it right here. You can't believe a word from China.
No, and when they release data, do you actually believe their data?
No.
I mean, do you believe
No.
their CPI data? I don't. I think they fudge the numbers, and it's a big claim to make, but I'm not the only one that says that. Ryan says it. A lot of people think that a lot of the numbers are made up, and I feel bad for reporters and economists over in China that just can't speak the way that the story is, that you have to lean what the government wants you to believe.
Yeah, it's bad news. They're trying to do that everywhere. Got to fight that.
Sincere talking about, what do you think about run today? I talked about solar stocks and how they're getting the lift. A lot of this based off of the energy move, and you see still to the top, energy leading to the upside. And so I'm seeing a lot of solar stocks get off a lift off of that. Run pulling back here to 1750s doesn't seem bad for like a day trade action, right? At least the risk to return makes sense here. That's what's always about for me, is always just thinking about trades and risk to return, because now you're looking for, right? Even if you get 1760s, you're looking for a move back up 2.5%. The risk could be back down, let's say maybe even to the 40, and you're risking about 1.2%. So 2.8%, for a 1. Let's say 1.5% risk. That's a 2-to-1 outlook. That's what I always look for, right? I'm looking to have more return for the risk that I'm taking, and looking to be in stocks that are in the right industry for that day. Look at all technology red, and there's only one sector that's in the green from the open, which is solar. So that's where I'd want to be if I was long something in technology. I'd want to be in solar today. And that's just based off of industry and sector analysis. Intermarket analysis, so important, guys. It's one of the things that I try to work on the most.
Look at BNTC. What's going on in BNTC?
BNTC.
They priced an 30 million equity public offering, and the stock spiked up into a halt, resumed, and is going to halt up again. Mitch,
how does that happen?
I don't know, dude. Crow, did you nail this?
Let's be honest. If I read that, I would
not have bought it.
Yeah, I'd be running the other way, man. This is where traders are just like this right now. Just laughing at us, bro, because we're over here like trying to think of it logically, and the crow's just like, man, I will stop. Hammer time that stock. Let's go, baby. Take that money and run. I don't know how you guys do these stocks sometimes, man. You guys are braver than I am. Let's just say, Crow.
This is how Crow does it. Crow uses the easy button from Staples.
That was easy.
It works, man. It works.
It works, man. Makes stuff a lot easier.
They're laughing at us. That's all I know. And I tell you one thing, I would get smacked if I traded that stock. I'd get whacked. Hey, that's how it is sometimes, guys. RSI, bro. Come on. Crow calling it out. What?
I can see the future.
Kill it, my friend. All right, let's keep getting after this market. Let's look around to see what's going on now. And what I'm doing? I'm just an XOM. I honestly, I still got this FAZ trade just sitting here to the right-hand side, looking to see if that's going to make a move. The SPY's back to VWAP, now rejecting that VWAP. And the Qs still can't even make it back. That shows me weakness in the Qs. If they can't even go back to VWAP, oh man, this is as bloody as it gets. A lot of times indexes are going to come back to VWAP, right? Let's just be honest. Like the SPY, clear example, comes back, then back to the bottom of the range, comes back to the bottom of the range. The Qs aren't doing that. The Qs are just staying below the VWAP and showing weakness. This could show reversal in the long run. So what should we look for? Nvidia. There was some buying here, it seems like. That big spike to me seems like some buying. So let's see if we can take that price out on the downside. That's a 431 takeout. Let's see if they take them out and then it just goes lower there on Nvidia. Man, Nvidia is getting hit today. That's the breakdown of the pattern. It didn't go back there to the 466. Now really starting to break. And where do you see the 9 EMA, guys? On the top end. Now the trend is actually towards the downside in the short term.
Looks
CCL.
like things have kind of slowed down here.
Any question on CCL in the chat? Is it a little floating turd? Yes, it is. Just flush it, Wisdom. Flush it.
Oh, heavens to Betsy.
Correcto mundo, baby. Correcto mundo.
You got that from Pulp Fiction. I recognize that.
Ah, you like that one, right?
I love Pulp Fiction. That is a great move. Or movie. Move. Jeez.
All right. We'll see what happens out there, guys. Smash it up. Hughes don't like VWAP. Yeah, it doesn't like it, man. Yeah, and China is dishonest, so we can all say it, right? Like, I don't think any of us would doubt that at some point along the line they fudge the numbers.
I'm probably
at some
banned
point.
from China. All three of us are probably banned from China.
Oh, I'm never going to China.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll just tell you right now.
China, but I'm just saying.
Like we could just say that right now, Nick. You might see me in Japan. You might see me in a lot of places over there. But will you see me in China? No, it won't happen.
You never know where life's going to take you.
They'd have to pay me a lot, bro. Let's just say that much.
13. I cannot possibly finish this quote off because it involves way too many profanities and bad words, but I can do that entire scene. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it alone. I know exactly what you're referencing.
You just got to use the beeps right.
I mean, I still feel I'm that up. It's just...
We start becoming Jerry Springer real quick. I remember when I was a kid, I was like,
Wisdom,
how do people watch this?
Wisdom, that's a personal problem that you have, man. That's your own issue.
All right, just got hit there on FAZ, guys. So small account challenge, not going the best, guys, as of late, especially this month. This month hasn't gone the best there for me. Now I'm down on the month about 1.59% on the account and just trying to battle. That's what it's always about, guys. And it's okay to take some hits in the equity. And now it's time to just continue battling. So another hit there in the Moo account. We'll have another day trade tomorrow. So let's just keep the battle on. And a little loss there on FAZ through the 1686. And XOM continuing to go higher. So I'll just take my one swing trade and ride that bad boy. Let's go up now 6.5%. And oil continuing to the upside. This is where I get scared about CPI report and things like that, because oil is going up, guys. What does that mean? Inflation could be coming back.
Excuse me. GNS for you penny players, new highs. Where was that? Wisdom says the wallet scene was epic. Okay, what I need you to do is reach into that bag and grab my wallet. Which one is it? It's the one that says bad mother on it. It's so good. Wisdom, I'm glad that you like that one. I'm glad that people like Pulp Fiction still. I was worried we might, that movie is a little bit older. Maybe people don't really like it. I absolutely love it.
I like that one. I like Blow. Oh, there's some good
Blow's
ones.
good too, yeah.
BP. We'll see what happens there. Some oil names definitely going higher. Oxy back up through that VWAP. Chevron continuing the 2-day run. This actually looks like it could keep going on the long end. On the monthlies, you just got to be careful with Chevron. It likes to come down on the daily, sometimes get me out on the swings, and then all of a sudden just go right back up. That's just from my experience trading it. Look at SLB with a nice push today, and that shows me that look for Halliburton also to be strong. And There you see it. Halliburton with a nice little move there. I remember when this one reported earnings and it was actually down here earlier and has really started to rise. Like, I mean, in 1 month, this is up about 24%. So Halliburton, big move there. MPC looks great here. Look at the takeoff on MPC, man. Look at this. This is oil to its finest, man. And this is why you got to flip, man. I was short oil right before this flip happened. So you got to be able to be nimble. You got to be able to be quick. And you got to also be able to take profits and just flip. Say, you know what? I took some smaller profits on the downside that I wanted to, but then I made some profits on the upside now. And so those expand those wins. Got to be able to flip. Nvidia. I will definitely be feeling the FOMO a little later today. I think Ryan and I will be like, man, we talked about this before the open. Now we look at Nvidia and we're like, what the hell? I could have nailed that one, man. But
well, I'm drowning some of my sorrows. I shorted Disney for the print tonight. So actually this is I'm going to shout this one out here. Brave. Well, no, listen, this is actually, this goes back to discussions that 13 and I have had both privately as well as on Happy Hour. I basically grabbed some August 1882 puts, small, paid 60 cents for them. No big deal. $120 worth of exposure. We'll see what happens with the print here today.
Yeah, my only scared part about that, Ryan, it's not has anything to do with Disney. It's just we've been so negative lately. Sometimes we get this like negative, and all of a sudden
back into it.
And all of a sudden it gives you that lift in one day. It doesn't necessarily mean that the report might be good, but it just could give you that lift. So that's why I'm not playing earnings stocks.
We'll see. I'm in very, very small, and I define my risk ahead of time by using options. There's really no way I can.
I like that. I like that. And that's the way I was thinking about it yesterday for SMCI. That was the only way to go about it. Was to use options, right? And I think that that's important to learn from. There's different ways to go about a trade, right? And they say, I think there's like 1,000 ways to skin a cat. I don't know who invented that one. But
I don't use that one because it's stupid, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, that's how it is, guys. So we'll see what happens. I don't know who's skinning cats over here, but
I don't want to know.
Yeah, dude. I don't know who made that quote, but it probably wasn't somebody nice. What do you think about shorting CELH? Hell no. I talked about this yesterday on Start Swing Trade. I thought this could go up. And that's why I think also Monster could go up today. And Monster did make a little bit of a move in the pre-market. We'll see if it kind of gets the lift later in the day. This is actually one that I'd be looking to get the lift off of the CELH report. And so what I'd look at is for CELH to stay in the green today, just stay in the green overall. You can pull back a little bit on me. Just stay in the green overall. Then I'd look for Monster to start getting the lift today. If you look at it on the daily, 57 seems like a good risk area for it to come right back up here through this triangle, back up there above towards 60. Doesn't seem too bad there on Monster. And I know my out. If it comes back through 57s, I wouldn't want to stay in it. Doesn't look too bad there.
Also on CELH, we discussed this at the outset here today. Remember, this is actually making one of my favorite bullish chart formations of all time. A floating island. This thing has popped into a new all-time high range. What I'd really like to see is a little bit of a sell-off, maybe an 8-point move down towards 160 and hold. The whole thing with the floating island is you want to see this pop. You want to see it come back and test the bottom of the range, hold the bottom of that range, and then curl back to the top. If that happens, it often breaks this top and can sometimes run for several days afterwards. So again, what I would be looking for is CELH to come in towards the 160 over the next several days, hold that area, and then reverse. I'd be looking at this for a long side trade. Now, if you want to try to trade some of this regression to the mean here because you think this is going to come back in, that's all for you, or that's all up to you. My trade here is on the floating island. I think the percentages are in my favor if I wait this plan out.
Random conversation, but Paul C is bringing up here that AAL is showing up hard to borrow, and I'm not seeing the same on my brokerages here. I'm seeing not the worst cost there on Moomoo. I see a 3% shortable rate, and I see a pool of 3.7 million shares. So I take a look at that brokerage and why they don't have shares of AAL. That's a little bit interesting to find out. Of course, this is going to depend different from brokerage to brokerage, right? And I think that's one thing that you'd have to look up at. Why my brokerage firm does not have AAL to short would be something I would call them up and be like, what's going on here, guys? Yeah, I wouldn't get in front of Celsius. That's just not something that you get in front of. That's a story that keeps ripping and ripping, and the revenues are actually matching the story. When fundamentals match the story, and then you're having technical moves. Yeah, that's three things to the upside. Three things that look good. Is that something that I want to go short? Hell no. It's probably the opposite. It's probably something I want to go long. But can I go long up here? Hell no either.
Well, that's
And
exactly so, Mitch. That's exactly why the floating island play is so great. You wait out this upward momentum and you wait for it to kind of regress back to the mean, but hold, because that way that means those things are still, those fundamental things are still in play and it's still likely to move to the upside. So I'm with you. I would not chase this candle, and given all of the bullish news, not a huge fan of shorting it either.
And I said that's a good way of looking about it, right?
Yeah.
Some plays are just going to be no touch for right now. It doesn't mean that I want to short or long it. Just no touch. I'll watch it, and I think that's also important too. All right, we'll see what else is going on in the market today. Let's go through the sectors. It's about 10:46. We're going to be wrapping up pretty quickly here, so stick around, team. Like always, we're going to keep pushing here. Energy leading the way to the upside. Utilities bouncing back after a really weak 2 days. And this has been a really hard downside action there. So I think that's just a little bounce back. Communication services bouncing back, but this has been sideways for a while now, about 2 or 3 months. Nothing that I see good there. Defensives bouncing today that look interesting to me is the Walmart bounce, because that makes it to what? Another 52-week high there on Walmart. And that's what you want to be seeing. That's interesting to see Walmart come back like that. Will Target ever come back like that? Man, this thing cannot get going if its life depended on it. The same thing about Disney, I'm sure Ryan thinks, but we'll see what happens there. Target cannot get moving. I mean, look at that thing. It's been just dropping and dropping. And you could think about it overall. This has been in a bear market since in 2021 and is down overall about 52%. And that was just on inventory news. They can't get their things right at Target.
I wish I had 4 hands so I could give Target 4 thumbs down.
It's how it is, guys. And
I love Hendricks getting his pretty face all up in there. Let's go, Hendricks.
Yeah, he doesn't feel too good about Target either, as you can tell. Come here, Hendricks.
By the way, TNGX here, while we're waiting for Hendricks to figure out what's going on here. TNGX doing a really good job coming back into VWAP. Watch this, folks. There might be another trade here. Now, we might bounce right off of it quickly, but the other thing that might happen is we might trade sideways along this VWAP. And if that happens, look for the volume to be your indicator for entry here, as this might provide a play maybe a little bit later in the day here today.
All right, Hendricks, you got to lay down, man. You're taking over the show. All right, guys, we'll see what else is going on. Quantum says, I'm shorting AAL by selling a call and buying a put, both at the same strike. Gives me the same risk profile as stock shares. Yeah, not the worst way to go about it. I'm looking for AAL to pull back. I've talked about that. Dennis talked about how he went long on it for a little bit of a longer term position here. I like it down at 15. So I would love that outlook. That's a 61.8% retracement of the recent move. Of course, the golden mean, using a little Fibonacci's here. But yeah, so 61.8 puts it right around 15.15. So where's the 200-day moving average? 15.09. So I'm just looking at that area. If I can get down into that area and especially buy off of this trend line here that you're seeing to the right hand, to the left here, if I could buy off that pullback into that space, oh, I'll take it. All right, what else is going on out there? Chipotle keeps going down. I've already made my bold call on Kava, and we'll see what happens. 2 days in the red now. You guys know I made that bold call on Kava.
I like that
down.
if we can get back to 48 and hold.
Oh, I don't like it at all.
No, I know. I'm on the other side. I get it.
The big thing is what happened to the stock when it IPO'd, Ryan? It IPO'd at a premium, way higher than the valuation that it was originally given. How have we seen IPOs in the past do after that?
Come back in.
Get destroyed. I'll show you Coinbase. It did the same thing. Pop, destroyed right after. Does this look similar? This looks similar right there.
No, I don't think you have enough data yet for Kava, do you?
Look how it looks kind of similar on the dailies. Of course, I have to go to the recent action. So pop.
That looks like it still hasn't finished its. Yeah, that looks like there's still more room to go here on Kava.
We'll see it. We'll see it,
We'll
guys.
see. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. And I just seen too many stocks do this. I've seen Hood do it. I've seen so many stocks IPO start going up. They just get wrecked. The only one that has surprised me, Ryan, I'll tell you one that surprised me. And it's good to know the opposite, right? Is Mobileye. Mobileye has been the opposite to me. That's actually held its gains from IPO. So there's some, you know, there's some outside of this, and I just try to like call out patterns that I see, guys. You know what I mean? That's all I can do. John kind of agrees with me. He's like, yeah, they usually get crushed after. It's just how it has a tendency of happening on IPOs. CVS looking good.
13 shouting it out here. Spy hammering the lows here. Market on the lows. Q's on the lows.
Just doesn't look good, guys. What does that mean? I'd probably look at NVIDIA. Is it on the lows? Oh, man. In full effect. FOMO in full effect. I'm just glad I put it out on my Twitter too, because I was like, yeah, this is boom, fire in the hole. Goodbye. Fire in the hole. Oh my God. Did Kramer really put that NVIDIA is good an hour ago? This guy just sets himself up too good, dude. This guy just sets him. Yo, Kramer, I'm coming for you, man. The clock is ticking. I think there should be a movie about Grace Hopper. What a store. NVIDIA is so good. That was short-lived, man. Short-lived. That's for sure. Guy Kramer, man.
Yeah, I'm disappointed I didn't get NVIDIA short yesterday, Mitch. Damn. It's all right.
It's okay, man. It's okay.
We might get, you know what I'm going to be looking for, Mitch, is one of the days where NVIDIA just rips to the upside prior to earnings. That's the day to get a put. That's the day. Yeah. Buy it when it's ripping. Just hold your nose, buy a put, call it a day.
Man, what a takedown there. Oh. How's NVDS? That's what I should have played. I'm just going to be honest. That's what I should have played. I still had the chance to buy that at 8. I should have been playing that. I would be up about 30 cents, way out of this bearish area. And this could actually start moving now. I drew this yesterday. Definitely failed to execute on it. This was a really nice trade here on that NVDS. I know there was someone that told us that they got in early in the pre-market. It was Greg, my man Greg. Hey, shout out to you, Greg. At least you made the decision. You're on your own basis before, even in the pre-market, you told us, and you called your shot. Hey, you're getting that reward, Greg. That's what it's all about. We got to call shots, stick to our risk, and then see if the reward comes, right?
TNGX coming down to VWAP here.
All right, I got to let Hendricks out. I'll be right back.
I'm still watching TNGX here for a potential bounce. I want to see what it does at the actual VWAP level when it gets there. Oh, there was a little bit. You know what? It's going to bounce here. It's going to bounce here, guys. Don't chase this bounce, but it's going to bounce here. Damn, I should have bought that. There was a big size at 775, and they just took it right out. This is going to bounce.
Get it, get it.
I feel like I'm chasing here. I was just looking at this about 20 cents lower, and now I feel like I'm damn it.
We're getting some more news out of Fitch. Fitch crossing the wire about 4 minutes ago saying Fitch takes various rating actions on the U.S. enhanced municipal bonds and TOBs. They says that this is going to address in this ratings action commentary to depend on ratings being the subject of pre-existing rating dependencies. Still trying to go through the report here, but basically factors that could individually or collectively lead to a positive rating action upgrade include a positive rating action on the associated enhancement providers, liquidity providers, or underlying bonds, taking into account the specificities of the existing rating dependencies. Factors that could, and there's a few of them, I'm just trying to pick a point out here. Factors that could individually or collectively lead to a negative rating action could be associated enhancement providers, liquidity providers, or underlying bonds, taking into account specificities of the existing rating dependencies. So just watch Fitch, Moody's, S&P Global. We are getting some more news out of that after the Fitch downgrading the credit rating, Moody's taking down banks. What's next? They always say these announcements could come in threes.
Yeah, we'll see when
we'll
the
see.
S&P 500, which is the last rating group, right, to major rating group that could come out, right? So you've had Moody's, you've had mention from Finch. The next one to expect is the S&P 500, and that's what I would be looking for. And if they give a negative outlook on banks, I'd say watch out to the banks. I know a lot of people started playing regional banks because they thought that was a big opportunity. I'd stay the hell away from that opportunity. That's just my outlook. Just because you never know what could happen. And I think at this point, if anything, I'm betting to the downside on banks. I ain't betting to the upside on them. I definitely played that Goldman Sachs a little bit today, but it's okay. And sometimes you got to admit it, right? I misplayed it. Probably just should have stuck to my original break-even spot. Would have not got stopped out, and it would have been in the green right now, right? You see Goldman Sachs coming down pretty fast now. And so that FAZ could have got stop hunted. It went about 2 cents below my risk. Now it's back there towards 17s and looking like it wants to take a pop. Bank of America starting to go lower. We'll look to see if that cracks. And if financials start to crack and they just went into the red, that's where you got to start looking to see what else goes into the red here. Basic materials still red. Technology still deep red. If anything, just made another move down lower.
Yep.
And why is this happening, guys? NVIDIA, the AI bubble. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, C3 AI. Bye-bye.
Another shout out to 13. He's been saying this for a long time. This is one of the things we've been watching. Nick, you might recall I asked you to look into some of these bank credit loss provisions and report them because of how important it was. Shout out 13. Look at those regional banks we're reporting for credit loss provisions. Their current delinquencies. Got to think there's more pain ahead if that's the case.
Well, talked about it on August 4th. Will the AI bubble come to an end? It might have just done it. Wowzers. What a down move today. Well, at least I was I feel like at least I was on the warning side. CPI leak. No, just get ready. That's what could bring us down even further.
My Mentaya asking any thoughts on Mullen. Yes, it's trash. Please avoid.
Yeah, I've tried to get access to that car to drive it. I don't know if I can get access or even if there is a car to drive it. I've tried. I would love to test drive a Mullen vehicle. I don't think I'll ever get that opportunity.
I was going to say Vital Knowledge's Adam Crisafulli puts out a midday market update every day. This just hit the inbox about 10 minutes ago. I just got to it. Basically, he's explaining there's some hesitancy into the US CPI tomorrow, given that the consensus view of the market is, quote, already fully embracing the disinflation theme, so downside inflation readings don't pack the bullish punch. And he goes on to say, and I didn't even know this, and I apologize if I misled anybody regarding CPI previews. He says that note that the U.S. headline CPI for July is expected to accelerate for the first time in more than a year. The street is modeling about 3.3% versus 3% in June. One of the more important developments in the market is the huge drop in AI darling SMCI, which we have been highlighting on this show. And he goes on to say the fact that the stock is getting hit so hard despite guiding full year 24 revenue about 1.5 billion ahead of expectations shows just how elevated expectations are for these types of names.
What a move there by NVIDIA today.
MGIH is trying to pop here, make another run towards 3 on MGIH. It's trying to get above this 778 or 777. Looks like up there they go. They just took it. Let's see if we got, they're bringing bids under. Here we go. See if we can move through 3. No, I'm going to come back in here.
Now, are you guys yelling, show me the money? You'll see it. I think today's the day, Nick, where you start to see everyone mention about how the revenues weren't there and how now we're going to start focusing on AI revenue outlooks versus just AI products. So just get ready, guys. You'll see it today.
Mitch is like, I've seen this before.
On the front page of CNBC later today, you would have got it here on Benzinga about 2 or 3 days prior. And why? Because that's what we want to do, right? We want to make sure that we at least wave flags for you guys when things are turning. I can't tell you guys exactly when things are going to happen. I can't tell you within 100% anytime. But what I can do is point to things in the industries, point to things in the earnings reports. And especially when I'm talking about actual nominal things, right? Like actual revenue, right? That actually affects stocks eventually. We can only lift the story for so long until the hype meets the numbers. Once we start looking for the numbers, if they're not there, hype starts getting smushed.
Watching to see if we get a bounce on MGIH here.
We'll see what else is going on out there, team. And I think that now it's just got to be careful, right? Because if you have any profits still left, you're going to see some people starting to get scared out. And I'm not trying to create fear at all. So it's kind of getting to this point where now it's like, okay, so now where will the dip buy make sense for NVIDIA? That's where you're going to see some people come in here and try to dip buy this. Now, the only question is where? Well, I think they're starting to attack the 50-day moving average. The 50-day moving average is actually above the price action where it is right now. The 50-day moving average is 429. We're at 426, guys. So at some point, if we can recover 429 today, be careful because that could drive the stock right back a little bit. And what have I been seeing in this market a lot of is when the shorts come, their big flushes down, elevator moves down, and then they stair step move back up. So just be careful out there with NVIDIA later today. All right, we'll see what else is going up there. Raz is like, Money Mitch, stop looking into my account. You can see my portfolio, man.
Yeah, but you're leaving everything in there.
And I think that's the thing that I try to help a lot on is just having like deeper conversations about the market is so important, guys. And I think that find a group of friends, find a group like right here on live trading where you guys can talk about the markets and talk about the markets freely, right? And I think that that's what Ryan and I do a good example of. We try our best to stick to what? Transparency, what we're seeing, bringing in facts, not just trying to rely on, just random like information, right? We're always trying to do that. And sometimes that is going to take us to get hit, or sometimes we won't take a position like that stock that announced an offering and went up. But we're going to try to stick to we're going to try to stick to the facts, the way things normally work, right? And try to show a processed approach, because if we went long that, I mean, we might as well just throw out our brain and anything that we ever thought about finance to then buy that stock, right? So that's one thing that you won't see us doing. We're going to just try to stick to our process, try to teach you guys from that. And I hope that you guys are learning along the way and improving your skills, because that's what this stream is truly all about.
Yeah.
If you're not making improvements, and it's almost dumb for me to say this, I don't think you should be here. And I'll be as honest as I can be.
And it goes both ways too, Mitch. I mean, I make improvements on how I trade based off what I learn from the people that come in here, from the viewers that come in here. Yeah. That's why I like the show so much. It's a communal type thing, not just one-sided.
Yeah, and then I learned from a lot of you guys in the chat. Like, there was plenty of times where you guys actually called the right thing. Like, hey, Mitch, maybe you just didn't give it enough room on the trade, and that's why I went into the favor. Things like that. And I learned from that. I take that feedback in, and a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just take it in immediately. I'm not trying to give an answer back to that feedback. I'm trying to take it in and then take an approach. Am I giving myself enough room, right? Things like that. We can all learn from each other. Let's try to help each other versus attack each other. This is where a lot of chat rooms go wrong, and we're going to keep it the right way.
Always. And the thing is about stocks too, is that people's opinions vary on things, and that's fine. That's not a bad thing. I know the way politics is going right now, they make it seem like you have to agree with everything or you are the problem. That's not how this works. That's not how real life works. Okay. And so a lot of the time, we talk about this on Happy Hour all the time. If someone has a thesis, they want to deliver the thesis, and they want other people in the group to punch holes in the thesis, because at the end of the day, that's going to make the thesis stronger. That's going to make your trading ideas stronger, and that's going to turn into profits. So it's all about disagreeing is not a problem. It's all about being respectful and trying to help one another. That's what we do here.
Now we are getting to the bottom of the range of this SPY move, and you see we were at here yesterday. So where could we finally find some support? I think we're getting to those levels. So do I think that this is going to make a move on the SPY to 444 today? By no means. I would say I don't think that's what I'm looking at now. Now I could actually see us start getting into more of a chop land. Maybe it can make a little bit of a move down here towards 446 or 447, but I don't see too much more past like 446 today. We'll see what happens if we continue leaking. And of course, CPI report tomorrow is going to matter, right? And that comes in at 8:30 tomorrow. Catch that on pre-market prep.
I love that plug there real quick. Yes, poke hole in thesis. Hell yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Amen. Montea saying, is Disney a good buy now? I actually took this short here for the earnings print today. I would wait to see what the earnings are, depending on what your trade. If you're trying to buy it for earnings, obviously you have to buy it in one direction today. If something else is a part of your plan, then I would probably just wait for the earnings print to get out of the way, digest the new information that you learned from that, and then plan accordingly. I'm using profits that I made today that I'm now rolling into a very small binary event play. So I'm short Disney via the 82 August puts, hoping for a couple 100% there. We'll see. I could very easily be wrong. I used profit to do it. So even if I lose and that goes to zero, I burned up some profits from today. I didn't actually take a loss.
Yeah, Disney, the only thing that scares me is maybe institutionals like it more than retail. And of course, we all know how institutions can sometimes change a trade. And so that's one thing that I would look at.
I didn't realize we were 8 minutes over. I'm late for a meeting. I got to jump.
We enjoyed this too much. It's 11:08, guys.
Mitch, I was going to say, regarding Disney, it would be very interesting to hear their parks, because we've been getting reports that parks and the theme parks have been dead. So it's going to be very interesting to hear on the call tonight, maybe how people are trying to lure people back to the parks. Yeah. I know the local amusement park near me, Kennywood, here in Pittsburgh, down in West Mifflin area, they're actually offering a deal all through the rest of this month that if you're a seasoned shareholder pass, you can actually get somebody in for $10 on your pass just because they're trying to lure people back. And we've seen this a lot. But Disney, we have streaming for Disney. We have the theme parks for Disney. Disney is going to be one to watch tonight just because of how the stock is trading, where it's trading. Is it ever going to get back above the pre-pandemic levels? I don't know. If you could throw up a year pre-pandemic chart, maybe like going back to 2019, just to show where we're at, you could see where the Disney pandemic and now where we're at now. It's very interesting to see where Disney is trading now. And I was going to say, your colleague, Mitch, on Twitter, Dennis Dick, I should say our colleague, says, NVIDIA down 20. We need to listen to pre-market prep more often. He tagged doing it just because pre-market prep offers a good insight. Joel, Dennis, and Mitch provide great insight, great analysis. They have great experts on, and it's a place where you should be from 8 to 9 every morning, right before you come to this show, live trading.
Yeah, we try to work hard, and I know Dennis and I definitely work hard to try to give you guys the best information we can. Sometimes Dennis is perfectly right. Sometimes I'm perfectly right. Sometimes Joel calls levels like no other. So definitely check out Pre-Market Prep if you guys have never checked it out before. That starts every morning at 8 a.m. Eastern, goes to 9, and then runs right into this show. I'll see you guys later today, of course, on Start Swing Trade. That starts at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. That's where you guys see me talk about the closing action. And I talk a lot about rotation in that show. That's what I think is really my value, where I can really come in and try to catch a lot of the things. I've talked about this all the time. Intermarket analysis, trying to catch where certain like leaders give us the outlook looking forward, like Microsoft leading into the SMCI report yesterday. It just kind of led me to this belief, right? And I was very bullish when it started, but quickly, that's how the market can change. We'll be with you guys. Nick Brown, myself, Money Mitch, BZ. You guys can check us out, News by Nick on Twitter. Give us a nice follow. We'll see you guys back right here on Live Trading tomorrow. It's always good to have you, Nick. Let's keep it going. Right here. Thanks, on none other than, of course, Benzinga, baby. Let's go ahead. Let's move you guys over to the next show. Going to go ahead and wrap it up.